The purple is here, and I know many people in the chat have been waiting for this moment. We have finally got to the champs almost 2 hours in, and Finn is in right away with a chat called with Bustos plus Diaz equals domination. This is the champs for a reason right now. And by the way, a fascinating team because they are the champs, but what an offseason this has been. Where do we start here, Charlie? Parmadou Carr's gone.
Yeah.
So James Merriman comes in. Who, it's not too much of a transition. James has been a big coach for this team. Has coached before, actually as a caretaker. Island boy, loves this team in his heart, in his blood. They lose Lucas McNaughton and Caden Chung to TFC. They lose Terran Campbell and Alessandro Jabrapor to Forge. Yet all of this suddenly doesn't feel like a rebuild. Doesn't feel like they're going to struggle to make the playoffs. Doesn't feel like there's a lot of concern. Still feel like a powerhouse, no?
Yeah, I think so. And it's a testament to maybe the underrated depth that they had last season,
Right.
that it still feels like that, because they lost the players that they lost were some of their best. Campbell, McNaughton, Chung, probably all arguably in their top 5 players last year, I think is probably quite fair to say. And Hajabrapor, obviously as well, very important, scoring a goal in the final for them. But even still, there's a lot of talent that was already there. There's some new players that have come in. The big one, obviously, Amir Didic, coming in at the back to replace Lucas McNaughton at center back. That's going to be really interesting because Didic has also been one of the finest center backs in this league for 3 years at FC Edmonton. So him getting a bit of a different challenge, a bit of a different role at Pacific will be something that's interesting to watch, because we know the talent that he has at pinging passes pretty much anywhere on the pitch and beating almost anybody in the world in the air. So yeah, there's definitely going to be an adjustment period for this team. They're going to be very different. James Merriman is a very different character and kind of coach to Parmadou Carr, who was just everything. he was massive.
Intense.
and in many ways as the coach, the face of the club, because he was just such a character and such a presence whenever he's on camera or in the room with you or anywhere. But he laid a lot of foundation at that club, and I think a lot of his impact is not going away, and a lot of the things and the mindsets and the culture that he instilled in that group are not going anywhere. And James Merriman has been there the whole way. He understands it all. He's been there from day one of this club before Pa was even there. So nobody understands the group and the organization and the culture better than he does at the moment. So I think that there is definitely going to be a bit of a different look to this team, a bit of a different vibe, but largely the pieces are still there. And the hunger and the drive to, defend that championship is something that they're looking forward to as well, because they're excited to kind of be the team with the target on their backs this year.
You mentioned James Merriman, in many ways, Mr. Pacific. No, go watch my 20 and 10 interview with him. And anybody who hasn't seen the interviews with him this year, you're going to get to know and love this guy. As I said, Ireland boy, and has been dreaming of an opportunity like this, and now gets a shot. We talked earlier in the show about Martin Nash, and this being a league for Canadians to prove it on the pitch and off the pitch. Now a chance for James to get his chance as well. And in many of its discussions with him, I asked him what kind of changes, if any, is he going to put and implement on this team in 2022?
We're not going to change everything. We want to keep that energy defensively and off the ball to win the ball back. But we want to add more to our in possession and to on the ball. And that's what we're trying to get across right now. And that's what we're spending a lot of time talking about. So that's what I would like to add. And that's what we'd like to bring into the new season.
I'm sure fascinating for you to also get out Marco Bustos playing a lot more than he did in 2021 will help as well, right?
Yeah, Marco Bustos, Baldissimo, Thomas, TMG. So those are 3 big pieces that didn't get a lot of time last year.
And that's important because the players that they've lost can be helped by them. Thomas Meyer-Giguère 8 games last year, but when he was playing in the playoffs was immense at centre-back when boy did they need him. McNaughton suspended in the semi, Samaki injured in the final. Baldissimo, 5 games last year, started once. Only one start and, injured for the majority of the year. But when in his game, he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the Canadian Premier League. And Marco Bustos, talking about one of the best, arguably the best player in Canadian Premier League, 17 games last year. And, with Bustos on the pitch, 31 points from 17 games. Without Bustos on the pitch, 14 points from 11. Dramatically different. And with those 3 additions, plus some of these new players coming in, Mavila, we mentioned a few of the Baldy, Daniels, lots of players coming in, Habibullah. There's a different look, a little bit freshened look, but still having that, that kind of stalwarts out there that have won this championship for them. And maybe it's Manny Aparicio's team now in midfield to take over as well.
Yeah, I think so. I keep thinking of names that we haven't mentioned yet on this team that are so important, were so important last year. Manny Aparicio, they're arguably man of the match in the final. Mm-hmm. He had a phenomenal day there in midfield, and he's a fantastic player at controlling that midfield, finding those creative passes. Again, Josh Hurd as well on the left, one of the more direct and underrated players in the league, and a player who absolutely has that tenacity in every game. I think he's a fan favorite out on the island as well, a local guy. But yeah, I think the biggest one is obviously Marco Bustos. In my opinion, the best player in the league. Probably my early pick for a potential player of the year. I think he would have been player of the year if he hadn't been injured last year. Because I think, well, did you say Definitely. He played 17 games?
Yes.
Last season? Yeah, 7 goals, 6 assists, I believe, in that time, including just an absolute dominant stretch in the bubble in Winnipeg, his hometown, I might add. One of those games in front of his parents, I think. One of the most incredible players in this league to watch, whether he's cutting in on that magical left foot of his, whether he's creating for players, and one of the most intelligent players in the league as well, with the way that he sees the game and the way that he can, even in interviews and things, articulate the way that he sees the game and why he makes choices on the pitch. So yeah, for these players, the injured ones from last year, to come into the squad and to have a healthy full season, really there is a lot of potential in a specific team to not miss a beat and to remain right alongside the top teams in this league.
I said earlier, whether you're a fan of Forge and Forge at that level where you can love them or despise them, and Pacific are getting to that point right now, everybody loves Marco Bustos. It doesn't matter. You root for a guy like Marco. He had a difficult time with injuries last year, a player that has just been so explosive, and now a player that is a pure example of a Canadian player that had his opportunity, then lost his opportunity, gets it back, and now is a man on a mission, a grown adult who's matured so much and has talked in depth with me and Charlie about that. He sat down for a fascinating interview with Charlie during preseason. I just really encourage you to watch the whole thing because you get to know a lot about Marco. But for this show in particular, here's a shortened version as Charlie went out the island and spoke to Marco Bustos.
Where is kind of your head at heading into this one?
Yeah, for me, it's kind of where we left off last year, champions. It's exciting to come in, start preseason. And the start of preseason is the start of defending a championship. We're coming in with nothing less than trying to win everything again. And just on an individual level, for me, it's most importantly staying healthy. It was a bit tough for me at the end of the year last year. I'm confident in saying I'm back better than I was before. So,
just how motivated are you personally for this season?
Yeah, man, you just gave me a bit of chills there. Like I said, I want to pick up where I left off. Pacific, from the owners to all the staff, the players. I'm treated very well here, and that allows me just to be me, and that's for me has allowed me to push to be the best player in the league. And if I don't believe it, who's going to believe it for me, right?
I know it's probably tough, but are you able to kind of share a little bit of just how tough that was and how much you were kind of motivated to come back for this season after that?
Yeah, it was very tough, but at the end of the day, that stuff happens in sports, at every level. And for me, the beginning was quite tough because I was looking forward to this game against my old team, the Whitecaps, and obviously the guys went out there and did a great job. We won the game, which was most important. But that was a tough one to sit out. I just remember sitting here in the stands with my brother, who actually flew out to watch the game. Yeah, as soon as the game started, I just was sitting there in tears. But at the end of the day, I had a lot of support from everyone, and just worked hard. Worked hard in silence of, coming in every day, try to get better, 1% better every day, and I eventually got there. I stepped in. I think my first appearance back was against Valor, full stadium here, and when I started warming up, the fans started clapping me, which was a cool feeling. And then when I went on, I had quite a big standing ovation, which was cool. And just I didn't know I meant that much to everyone here, which is a nice feeling. Obviously not playing the final was tough, even though being on the bench, and obviously the guys winning, that was a great feeling. Just running onto that field, hugging everyone, and it just being a tough year. Then just enjoy the rest of the night. That was it, and I've put that past me. I feel 100% now, and just trying to get better every day and look forward to the season.
Your first hurdle is here on April 10th. Forge are coming.
Yeah.
So it's not only is it a final rematch, but you've got Taryn Campbell and Ali MEDIAPRO coming back here.
Yeah.
What's that going to be like for you guys?
Yeah, obviously with it being the first game of the season, it's going to be quite a big occasion, regardless who we play. And then with those guys coming back, obviously they were part of our squad that won a championship. They wanted to go on to other opportunity, try something new within the league. It's a footballer's choice. That's them, and at the end of the day, it is what it is. For me, it's us against Forge. I think that's probably now the biggest rivalry in the league, and winning's a habit. So if we carry on what we did last year as champions, and make that a habit, hopefully there's not many that can stop us.
How much are you guys embracing that kind of idea going into the season of being the team that other teams want to beat?
It's pretty cool when all the other players in the league want to play for you or play with Pacific. There's a ton of players that want to come here, but it's impossible to have a roster of 200 players. So no, it's a cool feeling. At the end of the day, a game of football is a game of football. We come here and we don't want to make it easy for teams to come here. When they come to play us, we want them to feel that presence. When they walk through the tunnel, we want to walk out already 1-0 up. That's the mentality we have to have. But yeah, having a target on our back is nice. In some eyes, we're the hunted right now. People are coming after us. What we've done as a club, the way we play, an attacking style of brand football, keeping possession, teams are coming after us. So it shows that we've been doing something good.
They certainly have. Something real good, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Special interview with Marco there.
And just quick shout out to Josh Hurd and Callum Irving hanging out in the background behind Marco there. They waited a long time for their turn in the media chair. So because Marco obviously talks a lot for a long time, so they're very understanding.
They're very understanding. You got to talk to the man, Marco Bustos, at that point. I can't thank him enough for being open and honest, and no, we wish him and Pacific FC nothing but the best for this season.